You are listening to the Outlaw Podcast with me, your host, Andrea Hall. I am a certified equine gestalt coach, speaker, 3-time author, and lawyer. I help women lawyers who are miserable in their career, struggling with mental and emotional health issues, wanting to have fun in their lives, and struggling to be selfish. After fulfilling my dream of being a criminal defense attorney and opening my own law practice right out of law school, I thought I had it all. While at the height of my career, my 18-month-old puppy died, and I thought, what am I killing myself for? Sometime later, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and my world turned upside down. It was in that moment I realized something had to change. This podcast is about sharing my journey with you about what is possible in your life outside the legal profession, stopping the adulting and being able to play as a child, inspiring you to dream again. Let the journey begin. Welcome to another episode of Outlaw. I am your host, Andrea Hall. You have the right to remain silent, yet I didn't have the ability. Time and time again over the years, I have seen this happen with clients, and I've thought to myself, why? Why does this keep happening? Because I think we've been taught from such a young age that we're supposed to respect police officers and that they're there to do the right thing and that they're there to uphold justice. And yet, unfortunately, some of my clients are just too drunk to shut their damn mouth. And the other day on one of the lawyer Facebook groups I'm in, I saw a post from another lawyer who was complaining, and it was something that happens to me quite often, where a client calls, they're looking for advice, you give them advice, you tell them not to talk to the police, because at this point in time, it's just an investigation, and yet they have this urge to return a phone call and to talk to the police, and it's because they say to me, well, I just want to tell the truth. I just don't want to lie. And I said, I'm not asking you to lie. I'm just asking you to shut your mouth. There's a huge difference. And it just doesn't seem like you can even turn around twice and they've done exactly what you told them not to do. And I explain to clients all the time that there's something called the Constitution and that you have the right to remain silent and that police officers have been trained to ask you the same question 5 different ways in the hopes that you will say something different or that you'll change your story. And I reiterate that it doesn't matter what they have to say, that either the police have the evidence or they don't. Plain and simple. They either have it or they don't. Do you know how many cases don't get filed when a client doesn't talk? Not many. And do you know how many cases actually get filed when the client talks? Pretty much all of them. There's not very many that don't get filed, yet the opportunity for the case not to get filed, if the client is quiet and uses their constitutional right, is less because a lot of times the client sinks their own ship. And I tell my clients all the time that the cops don't need you to solve their case. You do not have the obligation to give them evidence to convict you. And again, they either have the evidence to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt or they don't. Yet clients have this need, this desire to tell the truth. And I tell them it's not your job to tell the truth to the police who are attempting to convict you. The average police officer won't believe a word that you have to say. And again, they're trained to ask you the same question 5 different ways in the hopes that you'll either change your story, you'll add something to it, you'll correct it, or you'll forget something and remember it a day or 2 later. And then they'll say, were you lying now or were you lying then? And I tell my clients all the time that the first time that they tell their story, I want to be the one that is telling their story. And again, there's a huge difference between telling the truth and lying. And I'm never asking my clients to lie. Yet I'm always wanting them to wait and tell their truth until I tell the story. And when I think back, I can take this right to remain silent and look at my own life. I have always been known for speaking my truth and telling you exactly what's on my mind. I don't have a big filter, and some people appreciate that. And some people don't. If I've ever been accused or confronted by somebody about talking behind their back, I can tell you most times I have never said something behind somebody's back that I wouldn't say to their face. I've never been bashful about that. And it's been a good thing, and yet it's probably been a bad thing. And I can think of lots of examples where my mouth got me in trouble when I probably should have kept my mouth shut. And I can think of one time, in my career where I actually kept my mouth shut, yet my eyes rolled like I had just won the lottery on the slot machine. And I'm pretty sure that the judge didn't appreciate that and wasn't very happy. And even though my mouth was closed, he said to me, "Miss Hall, I saw that and I don't appreciate it." I might have been better off actually at that point in time opening my mouth. I might have still ended up in jail, but I might have been better off opening my mouth and rolling my eyes and having him hear the ding ding of my eyes rolling around in my head. And I often think before I open my mouth, is what I'm about to say true? Is it helpful? And ultimately, is it necessary? And I just want you to think about that. How many times have you maybe said something and that did not run through your head? Or you wanted to say something and you knew it was your truth, you knew it might be helpful, and you refrained from that. Is that more of your problem? I think there's probably more people that are reserved and hold back, and not a lot of people like me. So through the Gestalt work, and my own personal work that I've done for the last, it's already been 12 years since I started a personal growth journey. As a coach, I believe that I don't hold the answers. And my job as a coach, in fact, I just did an interview with a magazine about what I do as a coach. And we were talking about the fact that, I as a coach don't have the answers. That I truly believe that my job as a coach is to hold up a mirror for my client to see the reflection within and find their own answers. And the reason I believe that is because no matter what I say, even if it's true, helpful, and it may be necessary for the client, I ultimately bring my own life experiences, my trauma, my personal beliefs and values through the lens of what I'm about to say to the client. And we all do that, right? There's no way you're not. And this happens all the time in cases when you have witnesses that have seen the same accident, and yet no one, very seldom do you have two witnesses that see it exactly the same. There may be bits and pieces or parts that are very similar, yet it still is different, because when it comes in through our head and out through our eyes and our mouth, we bring, like I said, our own life experiences, our own personal trauma, our thoughts, beliefs, and values through that lens before we ultimately share that information. And whether or not that information is true or necessary or ultimately helpful. And when my clients work with the horses, they discover the answers within. And if they're not able to come to that place and discover them, the horses will show them how to get to their truth. I call these my 1,200-pound lie detectors. I would put them up against any well-trained FBI agent. And the reason that is because the horses are ultimately attracted to energy. And when you're standing in your truth and you're speaking from a place of authenticity and a place that is your truth, the horses are attracted to that. The horses want to join up with that. Yet when you are not standing in your truth and not speaking from that place, the horses are repelled by that. They don't want to join up with you. It's not your truth that they find attractive. And if this is something that sounds like it might be interesting to you, you're curious about what I do with the horses and how the horses may help you figure out how to speak your truth, or finding your truth, the horses will be able to help with that. And I think that the horses are truly amazing. They're a gift from God. They've been a blessing to me, and they have helped me and so many others in so many ways. And share with me some of your stories about having the right to remain silent, yet you didn't have the ability to. And they may be funny, and they may not be so funny, yet take a moment and just share with me some of those comments. And again, if this is something that you think is interesting and are intrigued by how the horses could be a part of your personal growth journey, drop me a line, and I would love to get you scheduled for a moment of truth session with me. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Outlaw. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Outlaw. There is life after litigation. If anything I said in this episode resonates with you, call for a free exploratory session to see how I can help you. My horses will give you instantaneous feedback, unlike traditional talk therapy. You will shift your awareness into real time with the help of a horse. The horses are like lie detectors, flushing out limiting beliefs with a swish of their tail, a shift of their 1,200-pound body, or a simple unwillingness to move. Horses have a way of seeing into the window of our souls. Horses have been connected to humanity since the dawn of time. Their hearts can heal and mend our broken hearts. Simply standing in their presence can change our lives forever, putting the puzzle pieces back together and returning us to wholeness. Horses are restoring the parts of us that have been missing. You can call us at 970-682-4405 to set up your appointment today. Want to be inspired daily? See about our latest events or purchase a copy of my books?
go to our website at www.witherswhisper.com. That's www.withers, whisper.com. Or you can follow us on any social media venue at Withers Whisper. Until the next episode, listen to the whispers.